When a youthful Jordan Henderson walked into Melwood on a sunny summer day in 2011, few would have envisaged they were taking a first look at a player who would go on to join the pantheon of club legends. 12 years and 492 appearances later, the 33-year-old leaves a man, having not just cemented his standing in club folklore but also having led the Merseysiders to every single major trophy. In fact, he is the second Liverpool skipper after the iconic Emlyn Hughes to have led the club to every major trophy available. Having come up at Sunderland, the expectations of donning the Liverpool jersey were always going to be heavy. Henderson struggled in those early days and was considered an example of a poor investment made by erstwhile sporting director Damien Comolli. The Frenchman, backed by then-manager Kenny Dalglish, bet big on the English star, and a decade later, it would be an understatement to admit that they have been vindicated. Welcome back to Live Alive. This is a YouTube channel for news, stories, and analysis surrounding Liverpool Football Club. I will update new video every day. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications to support me. In many ways, the veteran midfielder's story in red is worthy of being made into a movie. He went from almost being sold to Fulham for a loss to being handed the Liverpool armband following Steven Gerrard's exit. This ability to persevere through difficult moments and hold things together both individually and collectively would become a trademark under him during the Jurgen Klopp era. Following in the Heightenhammer's shoes was always going to be a poison chalice, but walk Henderson did and even went on to outdo Gerrard's accomplishments as a skipper in the years to come. It is an uncomfortable conversation for most Liverpool fans who often put Gerrard on a pedestal, perhaps even over-signifying his achievements. But bias is to be expected in sports, and Gerrard was a local lad living the dream. Henderson, for all intents and purposes, was the outsider aiming to carve his name in club history. There is little argument that man-to-man, Gerrard was the far superior player, and Henderson comes in a comfortable second in terms of individual ability. That comparison is far closer when it comes to their respective stints as captains. Gerrard has time and again rescued the Reds single-handedly, carving himself a plethora of moments that will live on in history. The image of him calling upon his teammates to fight after scoring the header in Istanbul or breaking West Ham United's hearts in the FA Cup final in Cardiff are noteworthy moments in club football folklore, let alone Liverpool history. Henderson lacks the highlight reel, but the difference he made in the middle of the park laid the foundations for Jurgen Klopp to put together one of the finest footballing teams in recent times. A hard-working, energetic presence, the midfield star made use of his athleticism and energy to dominate the middle of the park, giving the more illustrious names up front a platform to work their magic. He was not averse to getting stuck in either, famously giving Diego Costa the stare down in a clash against Chelsea. His ability to get up and go again was carried over to the team as a whole as the Reds kept rising repeatedly against Pep Guardiola's oil-infused juggernauts. One seminal moment includes his lung-busting run that led to the Reds' opener at Anfield against Barcelona in 2018. It might not receive the same adulation as Gerrard's opener at the Ataturk, but helped swing the momentum in Liverpool's favour as they pulled off one of European football's greatest comebacks. Jorginho Wijnaldum and Divock Origi rightfully take home the credit for the goals scored that night, but the energy and organisation that Henderson added to the midfield snuffed the breath out of Barcelona. In spite of playing without stalwarts Roberto Firmino and Mohamed Salah, Henderson and his men ran their opponents into the ground. Once again, his impact lacks the nous to headline highlight reels, but the impact cannot be denied. He took his game a step higher the following season as Liverpool ended their 30-year wait for the league title. If the football pitch was the earth, Henderson was water as he covered every glade of grass, running his lungs out to help the Reds over the line. A standout moment from the campaign was his equaliser against Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield, another moment that swung the tie in his team's favour. After all, having your captain win the FWA Footballer of the Year award in a title-winning campaign speaks for itself. He also provided the killer pass to put Sadio Mane through in the 2019 FIFA World Club Cup final against Flamengo. By that point, the Hendo shuffle had become a norm at major tournaments as Jurgen Klopp and company went from glory to glory. Henderson was no Gerrard, but it takes a special type of player to become a regular in Klopp's all-conquering 11. The German manager is a proper judge of a player's value and could not have asked for a better skipper than Henderson. Unassuming, to put it kindly, the Englishman was not just content to let others take the spotlight but also worked his socks off when needed. He also kept a low profile and never got into any unnecessary antics, unlike say other celebrated captains like John Terry or Granit Xhaka. In many ways, Henderson was a model professional who embodied the values and ethics of the club. He was a reliable teammate to his peers and someone to look up to for the young players. Having him as the club's leader on the field helped translate Klopp's teachings to perfection. Henderson almost led the club to a quadruple in the 2021-22 season in what can be termed his last great season for the Reds. Age was catching up, and it was only a matter of time before he would have to enjoy a reduced role. He spent less time as a starter in the 2022-23 campaign and continued to find favour as the club's leader. Change is inevitable in sports, and given his current standing amongst Liverpool's new-look midfield, few can fault him for looking at a new challenge. Henderson is far from a regular starter for the Reds and, given his age, is well within his rights to earn a final payday at Al Ettifaq. And that's the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to support me.